Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The guys are here, the chat is ready, and the conversation starts now.
What's going on, football fans? It's your boys, Pound for Pound ATL Live, back again. And before we really get jumped off into it, man, what about them Braves in the World Series? They kicked off the first game with a bang, 6-2. That was pretty awesome last night. I know that they're going to get kicked off here again, probably about I think first pitch is about an hour and 10. So, we might try to wrap it up dead on an hour today because I don't want anybody missing that. But before that's great and all, that's awesome, but that's not why we're here. Why we are here is to talk about our Dirty Birds, who are now at 500 for the first time this late in the season that I can truly remember, since like somewhere around in 2017, I believe, and with a chance of like going above 500 this late in the season, which it's crazy to say that that's what we're dealing with here, but that's what we've been dealing with for the past, past few years. I know that there's going to be a lot of people who, then they may bring it up in chat, they may not, but I know there's going to be a lot of people who will be like, oh, well, you beat another bad team, whoop-de-doo. Folks, that's what we got on our schedule. Toby, you've made this point more than once. Like, we're only facing, three playoff teams and then Dallas. Like, the rest of the schedule is bad teams. There's not much that we can do about it. It's a product of being a bad team yourself for the past 3 years.
Right.
So, and I'm not going to get into that narrative because I will counteract those narratives with at least we're beating these bad teams. Like years ago, we wouldn't have been. We weren't. We were making, future benched quarterbacks like Mariota, look like the reason why he got picked over, first overall kind of deal. So I'll take the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take the opposite in the aspect of like showing resiliency to have another late drive to get into field goal range and to win a game. Like, that's something, I'll go ahead and call it, I thought was beyond us as a team. Like, it's been so long since we had consistently done that. I thought that was something that wasn't in our, DNA anymore, that wasn't in our team makeup. So I'm glad to see that returning. The fact that you can think for once, you might have actually left, the offense too much time on the clock. Instead of the reverse of, oh God, here we go again. Can we hold out? So now obviously there's still things that need to be fixed that we're going to get into, or that need to be worked on. Like, the defense, it, got carved up a bit. And to a Miami team that offense wasn't necessarily there, but, Tua showed why he should be believed in, at times, so, but the defense opportunistic, couple turnovers.
Yep.
We like that. Missing a big piece in Dante Fowler. But we were still able to get some pressure. So that shows me that maybe the defense is starting to pick up that menu that Dean Pease was talking about, maybe starting to pick up the concepts that he's wanting to run. I mean, you had a really shifty move from the sack from Deion Jones to a point where Deion Jones actually got defensive player, or was one of the, he was a defensive player in the NFC South, or, the NFC. So, I mean, that, like 2 weeks ago, you never would have thought we would have had a defensive player even be in those player of the week, categories.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
What are Mike? I'm gonna start with you. What are some of your early takeaways there? Right. Right. One second, Mike. It seems like we are having. I'm noticing. I just asked the chat, and it says that they're saying the same thing. Unfortunately, they can't hear you. It's on my end though, I believe. Let me try something here. Try it now. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
we can
What
hear you
about
now.
now?
So sorry about that.
All right. So no problem. No problem. No, we'll start back with the linebacking core, right? I think, for me, Deion Jones, Paul Khan, they're, them playing a pivotal role is what really got us over the line defensively because, we know that this is a defense with a lot of holes. But I think, seeing Deion Jones play above average, seeing Foy Khan play above average, I think if that can consistently, and we got, they were active. They were everywhere. Like I said, I think for Khan, I thought he was going to score there for a second on the interception. But I think for me, it's when the linebackers are, the defense can kind of feed off of them. But, we're still a long ways away from what I would consider to be a really good defense. But, we're making gradual improvements every week. So for me, it's just the gradual improvements. Tobe, what you got, man?
Matt Ryan, Patterson, and Kyle Pitts. You finally got Kyle Pitts to join the party of the big three, and I think this is where Arthur Smith wanted to build an offense first to get his chess pieces rolling with Matt Ryan. Now that he has that, now it's up to everybody else to find their role, like Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley hasn't gone off yet in any of these games for over 100 yards, but he did. Both receivers coming back, Russell Gage and him, did get a touchdown apiece. A 49-yarder, another 49-yarder now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That first 49-yarder that Matt Ryan threw to Patterson in that Washington game while they were in the 5-wide offense. And now he threw another 49-yarder on the nose to Russell Gage, splitting two safety defenders in order to get that touchdown. So that was exciting to see. But you still feel like Calvin Ridley hasn't found his grip yet. And that's what I'm waiting on. Now that you've gotten the chess pieces going with Kyle Pitts fully and Patterson doing their thing, now I'm waiting to see where Ridley is going to fit in all of that.
Yeah, Ridley has been an interesting case. I know it's like he's been an interesting topic in the, in the Twitterverse and in our own group chats and things of that nature. Like what is his role going forward? He's an immense talent. We've seen it, so now can him and Smith get on the same page as far as like how he needs to be used? Is it like can he get comfortable, going across the middle? Can we design, better plays that will allow him the space that he likes to work with? Like one of the things that, and it's kind of puzzled me that we haven't seen it manifest yet. But one of the things that I liked about Smith's offense coming from Tennessee was the ability to get people in space. And so I thought that was something that would pair well with, Calvin Ridley and his abilities, to create separation in his route running. That was like, yes, he's not a physical receiver, but he ain't never been a physical receiver for us anyway. I can't speak to like what he was in college, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't, a physical receiver. Like he's praised for, his crisp route running and that ability alone to be able to, make the twitch adjustments to create the separation. Right. So I thought that those two things would pair well with, Arthur Smith's ability to get space and Calvin Ridley's ability to create space. But so far, for whatever reason, it just hasn't like meshed up yet. It hasn't meshed yet. So, but what I am glad to see is that, when it counted, Ridley's route running, got him that touchdown. That was such a beautiful, play. Ryan put the ball where only Ridley could get it essentially, and Ridley made the necessary adjustment to get it. So those were, now that touchdown, even if he's not like producing the consistent yardage yet, that touchdown was a welcome sight in having back, and hopefully that'll be something that can spark him going forward.
Well, and I think actually, you bring up a good point though. But I wonder if both of our receivers coming back and scoring touchdowns, what kind of shot in the arm does that give us? Because I think it was really good for Russell Gage, because that's a guy we've really been critical on, probably since the first game. Like, we haven't really, sure enough, he's been hurt, but I don't think that he's shown much. So hopefully a touchdown like that will be something that can get a guy like Russell Gage over the hump as well. So, this is a team where they still haven't played their best football. Calvin Ridley still hadn't played his best game, right? And we've seen it before. So, like I said, the Panthers are, just kind of looking for just a hint. The Panthers are a team that I really think that Calvin Ridley has had success on before. So, he's a guy that I really look for him the next couple of games. Yeah. We still got a lot of football left, too, though.
That much we do. We still have a lot of football left. We've only played 6 games. We just completed week 7. We're going into week 8, which would, typically be your halfway point, but now it's with the weird math of 17 games. It's not necessarily the halfway point anymore, but close enough for government work, right? So what I'm encouraged by, from this Miami game on the offensive side of the ball, let's stick with that for a minute, is how, when Ridley and Gage come back, we didn't like Kyle Pitts still stepped up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To the tune of 163 yards, which we haven't really even gotten into yet, which we will, right? But Kyle Pitts continued to step up. And also, oddly enough, kind of lost in the shuffle, but Tajay Sharp is still carving himself out a nice little role. And, that I was glad to see continue when I was going back and looking at the game. I mean, it was 2 receptions for 18 yards, but they were timely receptions. Like you need a guy. He's like, Tajay Sharp is fitting into the Russell Gage role of the last few years. May not get a lot of catches, but the ones they do are very critical catches. So, I need, in a sense, I need Ridley's production to step up some, 4 catches for 26 yards, but the major thing is a touchdown. What'd you say, 49 yards, that touchdown for Ridley? So
for Russell Gage.
Yeah, that's what I meant, for Russell Gage.
Yeah.
Okay, so the vast majority of Gage's yards come off of that one play. So he had 4 receptions as well. So it was a little bit of a light load. Kyle Pitts carried the passing offense. And, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on this. This is the first time, I think, all year that Cordarelle Patterson out-carried Mike Davis. Now, do you think that's just a product of the team that we were facing, or is it like maybe a changing of the guard, so to speak?
I'll take that one real quick, Toby. I think the changing of the guard has been happening, but I think Cordarelle Patterson is so valuable to this team and so versatile as a weapon that if they could give him even more carries from Mike Davis, they would. But I think that Mike Davis will get a few carries here and there, but Cordarelle Patterson and Kyle Pitts, to your point earlier, are clearly our best athletes. They're our best chance to win, and I think that's just Cordarelle Patterson really outworking Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis hasn't really done much to help himself, but you can't really do much for 84 with the way he's playing right now. He's really turning out to be probably one of the best free agent bargains.
Yeah, he is totally
from the NFL. So
he is there are 2 signings that totally went like when we signed him, didn't even really bump any kind of radar, nothing, didn't move no meter, nothing like that. And that was Cordarelle Patterson and Lee Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like when we signed Lee Smith, I was like, okay, they just needed a blocking tight end. I got it, whatever. And now granted, he still only had one reception, but the fact that he had a reception in this game, it really is like bringing back memories of Levine Toilolo. It's like, you knew why he was out there, but every now and again he just popped one off. And I was sitting here looking at, like, obviously these are just, box scores, whatever, that doesn't always tell the whole tale. But Cordarelle Patterson, averaging 4.3 yards a carry in this game, where Mike Davis was only averaging 2.5. And like you sit here and try to say initially, well, I mean, Mike Davis isn't getting any help from the O-line. I don't have the current stat pulled up in front of me. But he is facing like ridiculously light boxes. On the vast majority of his runs, he's facing light boxes. So, I'm not saying that just because they're light boxes, he should be able to produce, but I would think that he would be able to produce a little bit better than he has been. He's been met in the backfield quite a bit, and I'm not saying that he hasn't, but, you would think that, especially these past two games with Pitts going off the way he has, and our passing game really starting to take off, that the run game would have gotten a little bit more productive. But as I am not an expert, I don't know what the true reasoning behind that is. It's something I'm trying to dig into. Like Toby put out a real good video on Monday, talking about, Matt Ryan and whether you should be looking forward to him not being here or not, and how that's a cautionary tale. But, that's something that I want to do as well, is like, dig into why this run game hasn't produced the way I thought it was going to produce, because that was one of the calling cards from Arthur Smith, he, not that he could, but he had produced a run game. So I guess it was much more on Derrick Henry than I initially may have given credit to.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is a star.
Man,
he's proven that this year without Arthur. And
that's what you call.
And I'll tell you this much: we got to give Davis credit for this much, though. His blitz pickups has been phenomenal.
Like,
and I think that's another reason why now Pitts is able to be himself too, because when you look at the season early on, Pitts was the one being counted on to pick those blitz pickups up. So he wasn't able to really be truly himself until Mike Davis now is able to be that guy to read across and scan across the field and see who's coming in. And Mike Davis has been wonderful in that regard. He's become more of the Jacquizz Rodgers, who was good at that as well. As short as he was, Jacquizz Rodgers was real good at picking up blitz pickups. For the front line. So that's one of the roles you're seeing Mike Davis fit in now. And when you go into the bye week, man, it's all about assessing. And you clearly can see that Patterson needs to keep being fed. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an obvious, observation during the bye week when you're coming out. So it's only natural. And you got your two chess pieces going now. So now it's just everybody else finding their role and where they fit at.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something I told myself, like, all right, when we get on the Mike Davis thing, don't just harp on, the low production, bring up the positives, and the positives definitely are, that's one of the reasons why Matt Ryan has been as clean as he has been, is the blitz pickups of Mike Davis. Well, that is our opening salvo. So let's go ahead and jump on into chat as we are wont to do. Joseph Thornton joins us. He says, "What up, pound for pound? The Falcons are on their way." That's right. We just got to keep it going. Antron Smith says 500. That's right. We are definitely at 500, and it's a good feeling. Like, I don't necessarily care how we got there. As Toby said in pre-show, any means necessary. And I'm glad we're there. Even if it's a short stay, I'm liking where we are. Melvin Emery says, what's up, pound for pound? Let's keep the winning streak going. Rise up. Yes, and we have a good chance again, this Sunday to keep it going. Let's see. Redbird Eagle says, get Pitts and Patterson to Hawaii. I'm assuming you're meaning the Pro Bowl. But I don't think they do it in Hawaii anymore. Jay Holland said, well, what's going on, guys? What's up, Jay? Glad you're in here tonight. Joe Houston says, shout out to Koo for kicking the game winner. That's yes, sir. That's something we'll also get into. I am glad that we don't have kicking problems. Koo has been awesome. Let's see. Adam Holloway has joined us for a little while. What's going on, Adam? I'm glad you're in here tonight. Genuine Music says, what's up, fellas? Rise up to 2 consecutive wins. Woon Carter says, rise up, pound for pound family. Great win last Sunday. Let's do it again. Sunday is great to be at 500. Yes, that's what, keep that, build that culture and keep it going, right? Joseph Thornton says, good teams beat teams they're supposed to beat. That's right. And you could look at it as being concerning that you had to have a game-winning drive, but I look at it as, years ago we would have lost that game. Even as early as last year. So I'm glad to see that we got it, right? Let's see here. James Williams says, what's good, pound for pound? Let's keep the momentum going. We are winning the close ones. Progress. P.S. It's his girlfriend's birthday. Well, happy birthday to James Williams' girlfriend. We're glad. Now, James, don't get in trouble. Don't sit here and listen to us too long. Go do something nice for her. If you haven't already. I'm assuming that maybe you hadn't taken her to dinner or something yet. I don't know where you are or what time it is. Anyway, I digress. William Amy says, we got to play better on pass rush. Steven means be blowing it up. Or not blowing it up, rather. Yeah, I don't know, man. Steven means, part of me is like, is it just the infatuation of veteran talent by Dean Pease? Is that his crux? Is he just a, grumpy old man in the sense of, I'm going to play these vet guys? Because that one still kind of, confuses me a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Keep it on rolling. Tony Wright's in the building tonight. Says the team needs to get Michael Walker in the starting lineup. I have a thought on that actually dawned on me today when I looked at the depth chart that the team put out. They strictly see Michael Walker as a linebacker. Okay? Why is that a big deal? He's behind Dion and Foye. When they need 3 linebackers, he's the one that goes out there. They don't play a lot of 3 linebackers.
Right.
Like, I know Dante Fowler and Steven Means are labeled as outside linebackers, but they're defensive ends. They're out there to occasionally drop, but to mainly rush the passer. If you see Michael Walker as Foye and Dion in those type roles, then no, you're not going to put him out there. Not when Dion and Foye are playing well. Like, it may frustrate us as fans because we think we see the versatility of Michael Walker. I know I'm one that has harped on that.
Yeah.
Like that he can do multiple things. And we definitely saw the fact that he was one of the stars of the preseason.
Yeah.
But if they view him as a linebacker and that's what they see him as, then with that being said, it makes sense to me that, you're going to, you're not going to play him unless somebody gets hurt. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I'm of the same sentiment as you are as far as that goes. I mean, it's a Dion and Foye world. And what we are glad to see is that those two finally got interception and sack.
Right.
That Dean Pease is they're finally getting it. And that's going to help us moving forward. As far as Michael Walker, it's unfortunate for him because he can't get on the field, especially when you're playing a lot of 11 personnel.
Right.
When you're playing a lot of 11 personnel, you got to be in nickel a lot more than you do in your base defense. Now, if it was the other way around and he was playing offenses that like to trot out those personnel groupings that we like to trot out, he would get a lot more shine on the field. But it's not like that because everyone is not trotting out all of those personnel groupings other than the New Orleans Saints and a few other teams like the Green Bay Packers that we're trotting out. So therefore, the team we're playing right now, he won't get that shine because of the heavy nickel that we have to play. And therefore, Deion Jones and Foye are the ones on the field during that time.
Right.
Yep.
What you got, Big Mike?
I agree. I agree 100% because I think he had good moments against the Tampa Bay Bucks, who play those kind of offenses, who play that kind of offense that you just named, Toby. And I think that with Michael Walker, we do have a lot of expectations on him. We know that he's an athletic linebacker, but he's one of those weapons that we can't necessarily scheme up with right now. So, it's unfortunate. But I do think, like to Toby's point earlier, having Deion and Foye step up does make me feel a little bit more comfortable because if anybody on the defense is going to do it, it's got to be the linebackers because we don't have any other group kind of that has that pop, as a group. But, one thing, man, I want to just switch the narrative on real quick. We get Michael, but I can't let y'all go all the way through this episode and we not give any love to this offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, no, we was gonna get to that because somebody down in the chat done asked me a question on that one. So we definitely gonna get in. We definitely gonna get into that. So don't think we're not gonna bring up those guys. That is definitely coming. Especially for as much crap as I talked the first couple games. You got to give credit where credit's due. So we are definitely getting in there. Big Truck Trap Star tipped us $5, which we appreciate. He says Ridley soft as babyish, trade Fowler, Matt Boland, CP84 is a grown man, Pitts is as advertised, and play JTM. Okay, there wasn't no questioning in there. That was just all statements right there.
All of it.
Hey, you went hard.
Hey, look, man, you free to that in a sense of you tip us, I read what you read what you type is within reason. Like don't get crazy on me, but within reason, you tip. I'm gonna read what you type. But no, like I think there's yes, Ridley is getting that moniker put on him that he's a finesse guy, and it's gonna be on him to change it or embrace it or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I think it was last week, I said right now I'm kind of putting him in that T.Y. Hilton tier. If he wants to elevate to Stephon Diggs tier, he's going to have to step it up, and that's on him, right? I can't make him step it up. So, all right, let's keep on keeping on. But I do appreciate that there, Big Truck. That was good. Let's see. Where am I at? Roe Stockton says, what's up, fellas? What's going on, Roe? Philip Bonner says, what's up, gentlemen? Gaining some confidence from back-to-back wins. Let's see if we can increase the consistency. Right now, that is my gold star word is consistency. That's what I'm wanting to see. Ghost Pepper says, after 6 games, Pitts is the NFL's top tight end in receiving yards per game. Only Kelsey and Andrews have more total receiving yards. But they played in 7 games and averaged under Pitt's 78.5 receptions per game. And also keep in mind in that aspect, Ghost Pepper, the first 2 games we were wondering why'd we even draft him. I say we, that's the collective fan base.
Right.
We were expecting this performance is right out the gate, which obviously didn't come, but they're starting to come now, and you're starting to see why we drafted Pitts where we drafted him. Let's see. True Block says, I was waiting all week to talk about that one-handed grab. My Kyle Pitts. That dude, 2 weeks in a row with a one-handed grab. I can't think of the last time we had something like that go on.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just go ahead and put it out there again, like we said every week, but that is the locomotive train every week. That's just going to keep coming. And it's not going to slow down. And I think it'll become commonplace to us. I really do think, over the next couple of years, we'll see some of the craziest catches we've seen in our life. And we'll be like, that's just Kyle Pitts. He's just got a knack for getting open. Right. Now, I'm not going to go into the comparisons and all of that kind of stuff or get crazy with it. But, man, he just looks like another big-bodied NFL receiver that I've seen before. And they just play the game really smooth, and they look really good together. But I'm just glad he's on our team. Yeah. I just put it to you
like straight up and down. I am much happier with, Kyle Pitts he makes that transition in a sense, a little easier. And I can only think to myself, like, what's it going to be when the game slows down for him? You know what I'm saying? like what's it going to be when, when he really like, has he already had that moment? Like,
I think he has.
I mean, I would think he has after the, after he made that statement, like, I didn't even realize I called it,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Like with every 100+ yard game, like his confidence is building, and it's even getting more cemented that, okay, yeah, I belong here, kind of deal.
They weren't asking Kyle Pitts to do anything they weren't asking him to do all season. Right. He's been lining up everywhere since week 1. I think where the issue is his processing speed and what he's seeing matching up with his playing speed. Now that he's able to digest what he's seeing faster, he can make the moves before the moves are made. And that's what's allowing him to play faster now and be on the same page as Matt Ryan. And that's dangerous because you got to think about it. The first 3 weeks, he saw a lot of coverages he's probably not going to see again because those teams had a lot more time to prepare to make sure he was not going to be the breakout star on their watch. Right. But thank you to the Jets and to the Miami Dolphins for allowing that to be possible. I accept this award on the behalf of Kyle Pitts because he is now officially the breakout star.
Hold your applause. Thank you. That up. But no, I'm just super glad that we have like something along that lines, like positive to be talking about. It makes me feel good. Obviously,
absolutely.
It's much. That's like I told a coworker on Monday. It's much easier to talk about a win than it is a loss. I don't care who it's against. Somebody made in the comments it could be against Adam Holloway's Pop Warner team. I don't, but yeah. So that was definitely. Here's the question I'm talking about. True Blog says, glad to see Matt Ryan throwing downfield. I can see the improvement of the O-line. Now that's what and I'm also follow this up before we really get into it. Tony Wright says, this question is for all 3 of us. What are y'all thoughts on our O-line and the cohesive unit that they have become? The entire line is balling. And did I say that Jason Spriggs would do well? He wasn't a liability, that's for sure. Which is good to see. That's something that you needed, But to y'all's point, the Ledford effect is starting to show. Like when I was digging in the offseason, when I was digging into Dwayne Ledford, who is our O-line coach, one of the things that stuck out to me is everywhere the man has been, the running game has improved and the sack numbers have went down. Mm-hmm. First game, I was like, oh my God. Same thing with the second game. I was like, oh Lord, where's this, have I oversold the, effectiveness? Again, like overreaction like we all do, not wanting to, realize that those guys didn't play in the preseason, which is still something I will harp on. Like the O-line should have been playing in the preseason. But especially with this type of like outside zone blocking scheme, you need those reps. Well, they're finally starting to get those reps, and you're seeing it. I mean, you say, oh, it's against the Jets, and oh, it's against Miami. The Jets had just come off of a 7-sack game against Tennessee, mind you, right? So they were 1 sack away from being 5 sacks, like the 5th in sack numbers, and we didn't give up a sack. And then Miami has a guy that, if y'all seem to have forgotten, that we all wanted in Christian Wilkins.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that dude is a beast of a defensive lineman. And Chris Lindstrom made, like, I'm pretty sure that they changed the name on his birth certificate because Chris Lindstrom just handled that man like all game long. And it was a nice sight to see. Like, and I think that right there, this is what I always talk about, being a team game, right? All aspects of it. The O-line starts playing well, and guess what? The passing game starts to really come alive.
And let me just get bold real quick. Jalen Mayfield has turned the corner. Like, to be honest, I think and what I like the most about it it might be a simple thing to most people, but I just look at his Twitter and it looks like he's just having fun. He's, Michigan by 100. Like, he just seems like
I saw that.
now deer in the headlights as he once was when he first. Because think about when he was against the Eagles. You remember the clip of him where he was like, "My God, I'm in the NFL. They're really this big. They're really this fast. What am I going to do? Do I have the ability? Do I have the talent?" And when you look at a guy like that now against a really good defensive line, now if one area of Miami is their secondary and their defensive line, they got some animals on the defensive line. But I think he held this guy pretty quiet. When Matt Ryan has silenced a lot of people, when you give Matt Ryan time, this is a more accurate Matt Ryan, I would say, that I've seen in the last seasons.
The deep ball has been impressive.
Not just the deep ball, dude, but just like the types of throws that he is making this year. Like, I know that he has thrown a handful of medicine balls or doctor balls or hospital balls, whatever you want to call them, where it kind of looks like he's leading some dude into getting his head took off. But there have been just as many throws where he's putting it where only his guy can get it. He's leading his guy into the end zone. That Hayden Hurst touchdown. Like, he's throwing it to where it was one of those Pitts catches in the middle of the field where he threw it to where, like, Pitts was able to shield himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the way that he threw it. That's where it took Pitts. And so, yes, we're seeing, as Fred Buss just tipped us $2, we're seeing a Matt Ryan that looks like an MVP Ryan, which was his statement. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not ready to, crown him MVP, but we're seeing him play at a much better level. And I think it's a thing where like I said, I've been saying it for a couple weeks now, and I have to quit saying it so that y'all don't get annoyed with me. But it just seems like something clicked in that fourth quarter of the Giants game.
So let me drink a little bit more Kool-Aid on Matt Ryan. Like, I will say this. I think Matt Ryan is the reason why I do believe that we are still a fringe playoff team, because I think what it comes to over the duration of the season is it always comes down to experience. And I think that you look at the Saints, you look at where the Panthers currently are, and if you look at the bigger picture, Matt Ryan, if you give Matt Ryan time, we got a chance, period. The defense is not enough for us to, think Super Bowl or think crazy or anything. But with the way Matt Ryan is playing and with the ceiling of Kyle Pitts, that's the thing, though. I think even over the years, we started to know what we were going to get with Julio. We don't know what we're going to get with Kyle Pitts, because you can put him out wide, you can put him in the slot, you can put him at tight end. We have never seen anything like this before. So I just think, not to overstate it, but we have games that we continue to build off on. This is another winnable game on Sunday, and I think that if we build off of this is an identity of a team that it'll be easy for the city to get behind, and that may not be something that we anticipated a couple weeks ago.
Guys, I got to get back on the O-line right quick, because I think we're leaving out two important, valuable confidence pieces. Week 5, you need a touchdown. The O-line pushes Mike Davis into the end zone, right?
Sure.
We saw this same similar thing in 2015 when week 3 in Dallas, when they pushed Devontae Freeman into the end zone, right?
Yep.
Now, fast forward to the recent game. We needed to run the ball in order to get this clock down. And guess what they do? They open a hole to get CP84 through there. And voila, we get this clock down, get right in the middle of the field for Coop to be able to kick a nice, easy field goal to get us up out of there. Those are two physical situations that this offensive line now has been a part of. And this is what D-Led wants to see, that physicality from his O-line, getting the run game going when you need to get it going in order to be able to ice that clock and to get out of there with a win like we did. And if this team is figuring out how to win, guys, and Kyle Pitts is at the helm of that. I mean, once again, Kyle Pitts, 2 big plays. The O-line helped, though, because without that O-line doing what they did, no way Kyle Pitts makes those 2 big plays for Matt Ryan, and we're able to get down there and do what we do. So this O-line is definitely improved at the right time, too.
Hold on. Sorry. A message just come across chat. It's from C-Mac. Says, I just want y'all to know, my husband got off the phone with me because y'all went live. Who is your husband? That cracked me up. I was not expecting that. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to derail your take.
I'm so sorry.
That was good. But look, we apologize that your husband shouldn't necessarily be doing that unless you're a fan of the show.
Actually, hey, so hey, you know what? Hey, he's spending time with you. Your husband got good taste. Anyway.
Sorry, that one caught me off guard.
You gotta make that up after this.
Yeah, he gotta do something. But no, exactly. Like, we've said for years, you give Matt Ryan time, so to speak. But it's not just time. I think that ends up being like a little bit of a cliche in a sense. I think it's more of you give Matt Ryan like the confidence, right? Because the rush is still there, but he's been able to, he's starting to manipulate that pocket better. I think he's getting a better feel for how his O-line is blocking, how they want to block these plays.
Right.
It's all about,
Right.
getting familiar with everything, whether it's the protections, the schemes. And also I think he's getting used to, again, like having a little bit more control. Like, if I'm not mistaken, there was he checked into that Russell Gage touchdown play. It's something he saw. He checked into a different play. Russell Gage splits. Now, there's been a big debate on, like, was it Javon Holland peeking in the backfield that allowed him to get past him? That's a them problem. Russell Gage said they felt like that they could get them, catch them cheating on them intermediate routes, which is harkens back to something that I talked about, after week 2, that we had to get these deep shots going, because if you didn't, that's what was going to start happening. People were going to start cheating up like big time, right? So, when he said that, he felt like that they could catch him cheating, and that's exactly what they did. So that right there is an example of good game prep, like, period. Like, somebody identified something, whether it was a player, whether it was a coach, whether it was an assistant, doesn't matter. Somebody identified something in the process, in the game, in the game film process. Somebody identified that, hey, these guys cheat up when they see these certain looks. So they caught him in one of those looks. Javon Holland cheats up. There goes Russell Gage. So, like, just good on him for executing it. I don't care if it was a mistake by Javon Holland. You still have to execute on those mistakes. So, all right, let's get back into chat. Let's see. Tony Wright says, Toby, do you believe the Dean Pease will finally start strong safety Jalen Hawkins and free safety Richie Grant, as they are our future, and the future is bright?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I believe at some point they will take over the starting role, but I don't think it'll be yet.
Right.
I see preferably week 10, week 11. It's just my opinion. I think when both of those guys show that they can really take over, Jalen Hawkins is already showing that he's seeing what he needs to see in the defense. 2 picks in two games straight. And he was jumping the routes. This ain't just waiting on the ball to come to him. He was reading the route pattern and actually jumping them. And this is what Dean Pease loves in his safeties.
Right.
And when his safeties are starting to be able to do stuff like that, it's on. Now, I don't know if Richie Grant might be starting, but I think Jalen Hawkins is definitely making a bid that he's ready to take over one of them starting roles at some point. Yep. And it may be Deron Harmon where he may end up taking that role over. Him and Deron Harmon spend a lot of time together in the offseason, and they're still spending that time together. He talks about that numerous occasions during his interviews, how close him and Deron are and the things that they have in common. And I think Deron is hoping that at some point he will be able to take over, because that's what he knows he's there for.
Right.
Yep. I couldn't agree more, because I think it's one of the few examples of kind of the mentor and the student relationships on this team, right? Because Deron Harmon is still taking Richie Grant under his wing, and I think that'll take some time. Richie Grant, like you said, maybe week 13, week 14, maybe next year. Now, the guy that I think definitely deserves more playing time right now is Jalen Hawkins. I think Eric Harris, the way he looked against that tackle against Tagovailoa, where ran right through him, it really made me think, like, man, why are we not playing Jalen Hawkins more? He's got more, I think, of an athletic presence. And to your point, how aggressive Jalen Hawkins is playing, we got to find a way to get him on the field. This is where if you have any playmaking ability, we've got to be able to
100% right there, Mike. 100% right. Be Strong just tipped us $2. We appreciate that.
Be Strong.
He goes, do you think Matt Pease, Dean's son, will make a good DC? I don't know, honestly. I don't know enough about Matt Pease, but you're seeing that already in a sense kind of up there in New England with old meth head looking Belichick boy. All I can think about is that gif. He's got a mullet, and anyway, it's just a bad look. Somebody needs to help that man. Anyway, like you're already you seeing that aspect there. It wouldn't surprise me if that was part of the lure to get Dean Pease here. Like, bring your boy. Like maybe we can build something and let him kind of take it over type deal. That's just me speculating. I have no clue. So I don't know enough about him in that aspect. But let's see. All right, let's keep going here. Antonio Holloway says, maybe in a crazy way that Washington loss was a wake-up moment. It could be. Like, you never know. Now, we've had a handful of people asking about trade deadlines. I'm not going to read all of them. But we are coming up on the trade deadline. Isn't that next week? Or
Tuesday is the last day.
Okay.
November 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. That's it. And I truly don't see us being buyers in that market. That's to be honest with you. I think,
we don't really have the cap space to be buyers, honestly.
Yeah.
But if we were, I would look for defensive end help with Dante Fowler being on IR. Maybe even possibly trading Fowler if you're not necessarily happy with what I don't know if you can trade a player who's on IR. If somebody knows that, let me know. I don't think you can. Something tells me that something in my brain says you can't. But I would look for either pass rush help or cornerback, maybe even running back. Like if you could get a Marlon Mack for cheap, maybe. But I don't know. Like right now, I just don't see where there's going to be much of a help. Like as in what we could afford to bring in isn't necessarily like you could say. I know John Brown's back on the market again. If you're looking for a deep threat, somebody said something about there's a receiver out there in Arizona that I see that gets brought up a lot, as in maybe a cheap wide receiver. We could possibly use some wide receiver help, especially like a big body receiver. But at this point, even with back at 300, potentially back in the playoff talk necessarily, I would still rather see what do our guys give us? I'd much rather see us elevate Quadrell Olison or Caleb Huntley, you know what I'm saying? Right. Or let Frank Darby get in there. I'm still of the opinion that I want to see what our young guys got before I'm really as interested in making a whole bunch of trades. Now, if you got guys that you don't think you're going to even attempt to re-sign, like a Hayden Hurst, and somebody's offering you some picks for a Hayden Hurst, and you've already decided that you're not going to, re-sign him, then get a 5th, 6th round pick, whatever.
Well, I put it like this though. I'll be honest. If we don't make, I don't know, even a small move at outside linebacker or defensive end, I will be upset because I do think that we have to. Arthur Smith and just the defense as a whole, they got to be watching the same film that we see, where Means isn't making any impact against the run pass. So I just think if they can get us just somebody that can at least consistently get pressure on the quarterback, it gives us a chance. Because I'll say this, Fabian Moreau hasn't played horrible. AJ Terrell is playing pretty well. I just think if we can get a guy that can rush the passer,
right,
doesn't hurt this defense. But right now, still not really able to get any consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah,
I agree completely, Mike. Like, if I'm looking anywhere, I'm looking for some pass rush help. Like, via the depth chart, Ogundeji's going to be a starter this week. So maybe with more burn from him, you start to get some consistency there. I'm really kind of like shocked a bit about the fall of John Kaminsky. Like, he can't seem to get past like the third string, which is disappointing for me. He was a guy that I was like, no real reason other than I always root for an underdog, and coming from the school that he came from, he's definitely was an underdog. So, I was really hoping to see him, produce this year, but it just hasn't. And I wonder if it's like a, just too many guys with the same body type and same build and same abilities, and he just doesn't stand out enough. Because when you have the choice of a healthy Marlon Davidson or a John Kaminsky, you're going with Marlon Davidson, like every time, right? He just gives you a lot more, bang for your buck there. So then when you elevated Mike Pennell and the way Jonathan Bullard's been playing, I guess there just ain't no room for him, All right.
Yeah.
We are getting close to capping this thing off, so I want to read some more questions here. William Butler says Harrison is kind of like Ricardo Allen, a bridge safety for Grant. And that's, I wouldn't mind that bridge rolling up and getting Grant in there permanently. Let's see. Indy says Falcons are in the last playoff spot as we speak. Like, yes, but we can keep this consistency, then we'll start talking playoffs, right? Curtis Roberts says, question of the week: how would you grade each facet of the team, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching? Offense, they're right now in what I would consider to be like they're moving into the B+ territory, B+. Defense, you're at a D+, D+ right now. You're starting to become opportunistic, which I always enjoy, but and special teams, oh man, kicking's been great. Punter's been a mixed bag. Punt coverage and kick coverage has been a mixed bag. So I'd say D+, C-. If I'm giving out loose grades without much thought to it. Do y'all agree, disagree?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not too far away from you. I'll give the offense, just with the emergence of Kyle Pitts, right? And I think that what they really showed from me during the Jets game is they didn't, not that they didn't need a Calvin Ridley, they didn't need the big names. They just played very cohesive as a team. So I definitely get an offensive B+ right now. I think that's why when we talk fringe playoffs, we might have a chance. Now over to the defense, where it gets a little bit grim. I'm gonna go definitely D+. I don't think a D+ is even a real grade you can get in school, but we'll go D+, C-, because I would have expected Dean Pease up to this point to elevate the play.
I was hoping for more myself.
Same defense that we've seen fundamentally over the last 4 to 5 years, and it's been up and down, roller coaster. Hang on by your bootstraps and see if we can make some stops. So definitely, C- area. Now, special for me, I'll go C+ because Younghoe Koo is a star. He puts it for us. He keeps us in position to win. Him by himself is worth majority of the shine for the special teams. Other than that, it's been, like you said, a lot of average. Everywhere he's in there.
He was starting to come on. I was really enjoying him. Maybe we get him back this week, and we hopefully that'll pick up. Toby. Or you can just say I agree.
D-. Defense getting a D- for me.
Yeah.
What I do like that they're finally getting turnovers, and we actually saw the offense score off those turnovers this time. And that was a plus because the past few times they get a turnover and the offense gives the ball right back
to
the other team. But this time around, they actually scored off of those turnovers that were gotten in this game. But I'm still giving them D minus. They're starting to get a hang of the turnovers now. They recognizing what the defense of scheme is all about and knowing where to pick their shots. Special teams C minus. They're still leaking out big time runs that they shouldn't be leaking out. The punt coverage almost failed them in this game because they almost let one get away and take it straight to the house, but they stopped them. I'm going offense A minus right now. I think they can still clean up some things, and they still haven't figured out how to use everybody. Everybody still hasn't figured out their roles yet. That's why I can't give them A plus.
Right.
When I see Calvin Ridley find out what his role is, and Russell Gage fit in with the three-headed monster that is currently know what their roles are now. I mean, Patterson, he knows what his role is. Kyle Pitts now knows what his role is and is actually doing well in it. And Matt Ryan definitely knows what his role is, but everyone else is still trying to find their way. So that's why I give him A minus. I'm giving the coaching staff an A plus.
There you go. Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm giving them an A plus. This roster that they are taking. Okay, now they had to go through scheme issues, all that first, 4 games.
Right.
They have finally figured out how to win with this depleted roster. So I have to give them an A plus. And I think that's why they probably won't make a lot of moves, because they want their coaching staff to continue to grow. Because guess what, guys? If the coaching staff does and grows the way that we're seeing them grow right now, when they bring talent in, we can expect that talent to develop the way that it needs to, because the coaching staff is able to do what they're supposed to do. So I got to give the coaching staff A+.
That's good. Yeah, from me and Mike both forgot the coaching staff. I'm definitely in like the B plus A minus range for the coaching staff. And I only go a little bit lower than you just because the slower start, I guess you could say. Like, yes, I get it. The roster is depleted in talent, but you've known that from word go. So you should have been, to me, you should have been a little more. But I don't like discount or not discount. I don't discredit too much, because this is also like first time head coaching for Smith. I really feel like something you brought up, Toby. I really feel like Ragon's got more of an expanded role than he's had before.
Yeah.
So. I really feel like the first few games they were also trying to figure their stuff out. So King 7 says C plus offense. That can be a B. D minus on defense. I need to see what all this doing against better teams for better grading. Which is that's a valid point there. Let's see. He also said. I'm reading a couple of them because I've liked a handful of the comments that he's written here. It says, I never got why we spend money on subpar vets instead of just playing our young guys. I'm like, why did we draft for them then? There's part of me that, like, I understand the logic of wanting to bring them along slowly, but I'm kind of with you, King. Like, you drafted these guys. You got to tell me that, a young rookie playing 100 miles an hour, can't give you the same amount of play and eventually elevate over a guy like Eric Harris, But that's just my thoughts there. All right, a few more questions, and we're going to wrap this up because I know the Braves are about to get going, and we hope that, like Nick says, we hope can the Braves rub off on the Falcons. Let's hope that the good mojo of the Braves and the Hawks will start drifting up towards, Flowery Branch. So I'm going to read a few more and then we're going to get out of here. D.S. Sorley says, I honestly believe that the defense won't change until without a great infuse of talent. Not on Dean Pease. Looking at his resume for everywhere he's been, it's got to be the players because some of the guys are trash. I think that's part of it. Like, you can only shine a turd so much. It's still a turd at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So I think you get some infusion of talent. Somebody brought up Robert Bennett said, could we trade for Kaylavon Chasian from Jacksonville? He'd be excellent for the Falcons. Can give them 4+. Can give 4+ a player. I I'm down for it. I'm down for trading for anybody who might be able to give us a hand. Now, I haven't been like
Right.
super impressed with Chase Young's resume, but it's hard to pin down anybody in Jacksonville, like with as much turnover and turmoil that goes on down there. Holy Pete. Delilah HD just tipped us $20. We appreciate that very much. It says, great show, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being in here. If you have another statement other than that, then I'd be happy to read it, but thank you very much. CDX for Life says, great show, fellas. Now let's go Braves. That's right.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's steal 2 of them down there in Houston.
Woo,
come back home
too,
up
boy.
2. Man, that'd be nice.
I got to find me something to drink tonight. We still another, still one tonight.
Okay, last one. I'm gonna get 2 more here, and then we're gonna get out of here. Jonathan Bell says, I need the defense to stop letting the other team get 31 points when our offense puts up 30.
Please.
Come on, Pease. yeah, I agree there.
Go.
King says, do you think good defensive players would want to come here, being that we're strapped for cash? Well, the cash is always going to be a problem, right? You're going to have to build this defense through draft picks right now, in my opinion. Ghost Pepper says, not sure why we aren't giving Wayne Gallman more opportunities. He's looked good in limited snaps. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm confused by that myself. Maybe it is straight up and down blitz pickup. That is something that'll keep a running back on the field as much as anything else. Update on AJ, he was at practice today. So that's good news there. Today's the first week of the first practice of the new week. He was at practice today. It was limited, but the fact that he was there and participating is a real good sign. Delilah come back and says, just wanted to support the show. Well, we very much appreciate it. Thank y'all very much. Well, look, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. Mike Dub.
Follow your boy, man. Mike Dub, MIKE_DUB. Always love. Toby D, take him home, baby.
Toby D, 1991. All day.
There you go. 2 quick things. There will not be a live stream on Friday. I am going on a company fishing trip, and as I'm the one that powers this crap, but we'll try to get a recorded preview for the Panthers game. But this should be the last little interruption. I know I've been in and out these last few weeks, but this should be the last interruption. But yeah, so no live stream this week. Follow us on Twitter. Braves bring it home. Chop on.
Yes.
And as always, Falcons fans, let's just win, man.
Just win.
Again, just one more time.